Chapter 1: The Discovery. Jenny walked home from school feeling tired and bored. Suddenly, she saw something strange. It was a bone sticking out of the ground. That's weird, she thought to herself. Where did this bone come from? She got closer and started to dig around the bone with her hands. As she dug deeper, she uncovered more bones. "This is really strange," she said aloud. Suddenly, she heard a voice behind her. "What are you doing?" asked a boy. Jenny turned around and saw her classmate, Alex. "Look at all these bones I found," she exclaimed. Alex looked at the bones and said, "Wow, that's really cool. Maybe we should tell someone about it." Jenny nodded. "Let's take some pictures first, though. I want to show my dad." They both took out their phones and took pictures of the bones from different angles. They even took close-ups of the bones to show the details. As they were taking pictures, a man walking his dog approached them. "What are you kids doing?" he asked. "We found these bones," Jenny said, showing him the pictures. "Do you know what kind of animal they belong to?" The man examined the pictures and said, These bones look really old. They might be from a prehistoric animal." Jenny and Alex's eyes widened with excitement. A prehistoric animal, that's so cool. They both exclaimed. The man smiled. "You should tell the museum about this discovery. They might want to investigate further." Jenny and Alex looked at each other, feeling proud of their discovery. They agreed to go to the museum the next day to show the bones to the experts. As they walked away, Jenny couldn't help but wonder where these bones came from and what other mysteries they might uncover. Chapter 2: The Museum. The next day, Jenny and Alex went to the museum to show the bones they found to the experts. They were both excited to learn more about the prehistoric animal the bones belonged to. At the museum, they met with Dr. Johnson, a paleontologist who studied fossils and prehistoric animals. Dr. Johnson examined the pictures of the bones that Jenny and Alex showed him. "These are very interesting bones," Dr. Johnson said. "They belong to a dinosaur that lived millions of years ago." Jenny and Alex were amazed. "A dinosaur?" they both exclaimed. "Yes, a very rare and ancient dinosaur, Doctor." Johnson said, "I've never seen bones like these before. You two have made an incredible discovery." Jenny and Alex felt proud of themselves. They never thought they would discover something so amazing. Dr. Johnson asked them if they could take him to the place where they found the bones. Jenny and Alex agreed and took Dr. Johnson to the spot where they found the bones. Dr. Johnson examined the ground carefully and found more bones buried in the dirt. "This is incredible," he said. "We need to excavate this area and see what else we can find." Jenny and Alex felt excited about the possibility of finding more dinosaur bones. They couldn't wait to see what other mysteries lay buried in the ground. Dr. Johnson told them that he needed permission from the city to excavate the area. He promised to keep them updated on any progress. Jenny and Alex left the museum feeling proud and excited. They had discovered something incredible, and they knew that their discovery could lead to even more amazing discoveries in the future. Chapter 3: The Excavation. Days turned into weeks, and Jenny and Alex eagerly waited for news about the excavation. Finally, they received a call from Dr. Johnson. "Good news," he exclaimed. "The city has given us permission to excavate the area where you found the bones." Jenny and Alex were overjoyed. They couldn't believe that they were going to be a part of an actual excavation. The next day, they went to the excavation site, where they met with Dr. Johnson and his team of paleontologists. They were amazed by the size of the excavation area, which had been cordoned off with yellow tape. Dr. Johnson explained that they would have to be very careful while excavating, as the bones were fragile and could break easily. They would need to use small brushes and shovels to carefully dig around the bones. Jenny and Alex were given their own brushes and shovels, and they got to work. They started digging around the bones they had found earlier, hoping to find more. As they were digging, they heard a loud crack. Jenny gasped as she saw a bone break in half. Dr. Johnson came over to see what had happened. "Don't worry," he said reassuringly. "That's just part of the excavation process. It's better that we break a bone now than later when we're trying to put it back together." Jenny and Alex felt relieved. They continued digging, carefully brushing away the dirt around the bones. Hours passed, and they were starting to feel tired. Suddenly, one of the paleontologists shouted, "I found something!" Jenny and Alex rushed over to see what it was. Dr. Johnson carefully brushed away the dirt around the object, revealing a small fossilized tooth. "This is amazing!" Dr. Johnson exclaimed. "This is from a completely different species than the dinosaur we found earlier." Jenny and Alex couldn't believe it. They had discovered not one, but two prehistoric animals. Excitement grew among the paleontologists, and they continued to dig, hoping to find more fossils. Jenny and Alex felt proud to be a part of such an amazing discovery. They knew that this excavation would change their lives forever. Chapter 4: The Strange Discoveries. Days turned into weeks, and the excavation continued. Jenny and Alex were excited to see what else they could find. They spent long hours digging and brushing away the dirt, searching for any sign of prehistoric life. One day, as they were digging, Jenny uncovered something strange. It was a small, shiny object that looked like a piece of metal. She called Dr. Johnson over to take a look. Dr. Johnson examined the object carefully. "This is definitely not a fossil," he said. "It looks like a piece of metal, but how did it end up here?" Jenny and Alex were puzzled. They had never heard of metal objects being found alongside fossils before. As they continued to dig, they found more strange objects. A small, broken vase, some old coins, and even a rusty old key. They showed the objects to Dr. Johnson, who was equally puzzled. "These objects are from different eras," he said. "It's strange that they would all be buried together." Jenny and Alex were intrigued. They wondered what kind of story these objects could tell. They knew they had to investigate further. They decided to visit the local library to research the history of the area where they were excavating. They searched through books and old maps, trying to find any information about the objects they had found. After several hours of research, they found an old map that showed a building on the excavation site that dated back to the early 1800s. They wondered if the objects they had found could be from that building. Excited to investigate further, Jenny and Alex went back to the excavation site and showed the map to Dr. Johnson. He was intrigued and suggested they dig deeper in that particular area. As they dug deeper, they uncovered more strange objects, old buttons, broken plates, and even a small gold locket. They were amazed by the variety of objects they found and wondered what other treasures lay buried beneath the ground. Days turned into weeks, and the excavation continued. Jenny and Alex and the paleontologists worked hard, uncovering more and more strange and mysterious objects. They knew that they were onto something big and couldn't wait to see what other secrets lay buried beneath the ground. Chapter 5. The Mysterious Doorway. Jenny and Alex were digging in the area where they had found the strange objects when they noticed something odd. There was a small stone wall with a doorway that had been covered up with dirt and debris. Jenny and Alex immediately called Dr. Johnson over to take a look. He examined the doorway carefully and realized that it was part of an old building. "It looks like this doorway has been buried for years," he said. "We need to investigate this further." Excitement grew among the paleontologists, and they started to dig around the doorway. It took several days of careful excavation, but they finally uncovered the entire doorway. Jenny and Alex peered inside and saw that it led to a small, dark room. They couldn't see much, but they could tell that the room was full of debris and dirt. Dr. Johnson called in an archaeologist to help investigate the room. The archaeologist carefully removed the debris, uncovering several objects that were still intact. There were old coins, a small statue, and even an old journal. Jenny and Alex were excited to see what was in the journal. They eagerly flipped through the pages and found that it belonged to the person who had lived in the building over 100 years ago. As they read the journal, they discovered that the building had been a secret meeting place for a group of scientists who had been studying prehistoric animals. They had used the building to hide their discoveries from the public and had buried their most valuable objects in the room behind the doorway. Jenny and Alex were amazed by this discovery. They had never imagined that they would uncover such a mysterious and intriguing story. As they continued to read the journal, they found a clue that led them to a small box hidden in the corner of the room. Inside the box was a small crystal shard. Dr. Johnson examined the shard carefully and realized that it was a piece of a prehistoric animal's bone that had been cut and polished to create a beautiful crystal. Jenny and Alex were thrilled to have discovered such a rare and valuable artifact. They knew that this discovery would change their lives forever, and that they had been a part of something truly amazing. Chapter 6. The Dangerous Discovery. Jenny and Alex were on a roll with their excavation. They had found so many incredible artifacts and discoveries that they couldn't wait to see what else was waiting to be uncovered. One day, while they were digging, Alex noticed something strange. He had found a large bone that looked different from the others they had found. It was smooth and had a strange marking on it. Jenny and Alex called over Dr. Johnson to take a look. He examined the bone carefully and realized that it was from a prehistoric animal that had never been discovered before. Excitement grew among the paleontologists as they carefully dug around the bone to uncover more. As they dug deeper, they found more bones, and they realized that they had discovered a whole new species of prehistoric animal. Jenny and Alex were thrilled to have been a part of such a significant discovery. They knew that this would make headlines all around the world. However, their excitement was short-lived. As they were digging, they heard a loud rumbling sound coming from beneath the ground. Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet started to shake violently. Jenny and Alex were terrified. They had never experienced anything like this before. They immediately ran towards Dr. Johnson, who was yelling for everyone to evacuate the site. As they were running, the ground suddenly opened up and a huge crater appeared. Jenny and Alex stumbled and fell into the crater, along with several other paleontologists. When they looked up, they realized that they were standing in front of a large underground cave. The walls of the cave were lined with strange markings and drawings that they couldn't decipher. Jenny and Alex were amazed by the cave. They knew that they had uncovered something significant, but they didn't know what it was. As they were exploring the cave, they heard a low growling sound coming from somewhere deep inside. They realized that they weren't alone in the cave. They quickly retreated and ran back to the excavation site, where they found Dr. Johnson and the other paleontologists waiting for them. Everyone was safe, but they were all shaken by the experience. They knew that they had stumbled upon something dangerous and they had to be careful from then on. They wondered what else was hidden beneath the ground and what other dangers they would face in their quest for knowledge. Chapter 7. The Secret Chamber. After the dangerous discovery in the previous chapter, the paleontologists were more careful than ever. They made sure to take precautions before digging or exploring any new areas. One day, while they were excavating, Jenny and Alex noticed a small opening in the ground. They called over Dr. Johnson, who examined the opening and realized that it was a hidden entrance to a secret chamber. Excitement grew among the paleontologists, and they carefully uncovered the entrance. They had to crawl through a narrow tunnel to get inside the chamber. As they emerged from the tunnel, they found themselves in a large room with walls lined with strange markings and symbols. Jenny and Alex were amazed by the chamber. They knew that they had uncovered something significant. As they explored the room, they found an old manuscript lying on the floor. The manuscript was written in a language that they couldn't understand, but they could tell that it was old and valuable. Dr. Johnson called over a linguist to help decipher the manuscript. The linguist examined the manuscript carefully and discovered that it was written in an ancient language that had not been used in centuries. As the linguist translated the manuscript, they discovered that it contained information about a prehistoric animal that had never been discovered before. The manuscript also contained a map that showed the location of the animal's remains. Jenny and Alex were thrilled to have found such valuable information. They knew that this would make headlines all around the world. As they were examining the manuscript, they noticed something odd about the walls of the chamber. There were several stones that looked out of place. Jenny and Alex pushed one of the stones and it moved, revealing a hidden room. Inside the hidden room, they found a small statue of a prehistoric animal that they had never seen before. The statue was made of a rare and valuable mineral that they had never heard of. Jenny and Alex knew that they had made an incredible discovery. They had uncovered a secret chamber filled with valuable information and treasures. As they were leaving the chamber, they noticed that the walls were lined with more hidden compartments and passages. They knew that there was still more to discover, and they couldn't wait to see what else was waiting to be uncovered. Chapter 8: The Legacy. Jenny and Alex's excavation had come to an end. They had uncovered incredible artifacts and discoveries that would change the world's understanding of prehistoric life. As they were packing up their equipment, Dr. Johnson called them over to his tent. He had a surprise for them. Dr. Johnson presented them with a small box containing a rare and valuable mineral. He explained that the mineral was the same one that the small statue in the secret chamber was made of. He had it crafted into 2 small pendants for Jenny and Alex to remember their incredible journey and discovery. Jenny and Alex were thrilled with the gift. They thanked Dr. Johnson for everything and promised to use the pendants as a reminder of their incredible adventure. As they were leaving the excavation site, Jenny and Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness. They had spent months on this site, and they had uncovered incredible things. They wondered if they would ever experience something like this again. As they drove away from the site, Jenny and Alex knew that they had left behind a legacy. They had uncovered valuable information and artifacts that would change the world's understanding of prehistoric life. They had made a significant contribution to science and history. Jenny and Alex knew that their journey was just beginning. They couldn't wait to explore other sites and uncover more mysteries of the past. They knew that there was still so much to discover, and they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. As they drove off into the sunset, Jenny and Alex felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. They had left their mark on history, and they knew that their legacy would live on for generations to come.